Welcome to another episode of Everyday-ish. I'm Sky.
I'm Vic.
And man, let's get into it. You know, we got some good topics to talk about right now. I hope I'm sounding good and mics are good and visually everything's looking great and how it should be. I know if it's not, y'all gonna tear me up in the comments. So I want to try to make sure we good. So man, where to start? First off, so a lot happened in music recently. There was a VMA Awards. You know, a lot of albums dropped. There's been a lot of talk about music. But I kind of feel like music has been like coming and going. Like an album will drop and some of them will hit the charts. Some of them won't even make the charts. And, you know, we'll talk about it for like a week. And then after that, it's kind of like gone. And so it made me think about this topic that I kind of want to discuss, and it's called good hits versus good singers. And what I mean by that is, you know, and this is why I'm gonna tell y'all why it came up, how I came up with this topic, right? I was having a discussion, and I was talking about Teyana Taylor versus Mariah the Scientist, and like, so someone was saying that they know more of Mariah the Scientist's songs, but Teyana Taylor is more popular. Like she's, you know, like she's like like she's more popular than Mariah the Scientist. But they were saying that Mariah the Scientist is a better singer, right? And the reason she has, you know, they know her songs is because she has more hits, right? And so it made me think of like, because I can think of a few examples where I feel like someone is more talented, like singing wise, but they don't have hits as the other person, and so therefore they're not as popular, right?
There's plenty of examples of that.
Right. And so first off, what do you I mean, I don't know, did you listen to Mariah the Scientist's latest album at all?
I listened to a little bit of both of them.
Okay.
I haven't listened to this last album, but
what are your thoughts?
She's definitely talented. I don't know about who is like the better artist. Like I was like, I don't think I know
Who's the better singer?
Yeah, but I was like, if we're talking about better singer, I was like, you know, that might have to go to Mariah the Scientist.
Yeah, I agree with that because see, and I like Teyana Taylor, I really do, but I can't name not one of her songs. and maybe it's just me, but I've talked to other people and they know her. They're like, oh yeah, she's popular and stuff like that. But her, you know, I don't think she has like hits like that. I'm sorry, like I don't feel like you have to be a really big fan of hers to really like know her music.
Really tune in.
Yeah, you have to really be tuned in. And so I was just wondering like why that is, right? And sometimes I feel like that is a combination of things. Like maybe it's who you have around you. Like here's what I'll say about Mariah. I don't even think she's personally. I don't think she's. There's a lot of other singers I can name that are better singers than Mariah, right? But I think whoever is helping her with her music is doing a great job. Is doing a great job. Like she's making relatable, catchy songs, right? So therefore, she's going more viral. Like a lot of her music is being used on TikTok. And
TikTok
so
is saving a lot of people's careers.
Right. And so I feel like that matters when it comes to making music. It's like you can be more talented than me, but if I work with the right people and get a hit, you know, somebody writes a hit for me, then, you know, like my career can advance like much faster.
You blow up on TikTok. That's why all the Drake songs suck now, because that's all you're trying to do. Sorry, I was throwing shots at. We don't need to go there this way.
We'll save that for later. Yeah, so like I said, I just thought that was an interesting thing to kind of cover. Like you said, there's a lot of examples of that, of like people who are very talented singers, but they're just not as popular as they should be. And I just be thinking like, is that a label thing? Or is that like, you know, I mean, again.
Actually, because, you know, you got to have, you know, they think like labels will tell you got to have the image and everything, but I was like, they are the ones who's supposed to create the image.
This is
So I
true.
was like, they could turn anybody into whoever they wanted if they really wanted to. So, it's really a matter of their investment, I feel like.
What was that group? Willy Vanilli? What was the name of it?
Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. Milli Vanilli. That's right. You say they can turn anybody famous.
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli turned them famous.
Yeah.
Won a Grammy and everything, and couldn't sing a lick.
Yeah.
But they had the image.
Yeah.
So, I just both. Shout out to both artists. Like I said, I am a fan of both. And like I said, what I'm saying is not to discredit like any one artist. I'm just, like I said, as a fan, it kind of came up, and it just made me wonder, like, why is one more, popular or more viral than the other? With that being said, since I did mention Teyana Taylor, another topic that came up, and I want to give her flowers. There's been a lot of talk about, Chris Brown and like Usher and who's the Michael Jackson of this generation. I'm not here to talk about that right now, but I will say, as far as like the Janet Jackson or the Rhythm Nation version, just generation, as far as like just pure like talented dance, choreographed dance, I think Teyana Taylor is that, right? I don't think there's anybody right now that is better than her when it comes to dance and just choreographed dance. Someone I was talking to mentioned Ciryl, but
Ciryl, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I think Teyana Taylor has it. I don't know. I like, she's very creative. I think she stays in shape. And I would give it to her. To me, like I said, I feel like she doesn't get enough flowers and credit for that part. I know earlier I was like, music wise, whatever. I don't know any of her hits. I stand by that. But I do know if you ask me like who's top female dancer right now today, Teyana Taylor automatically comes to mind. So I do got to give credit where credit is due. I don't think there's any females like really like touching her right now, like when it comes to that.
Dancing wise.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
How many of the new acts actually dance? And I don't mean twerk.
It's like they kind of moved away from that. A lot of people, especially I feel like after like Adele came on, a lot of the people who had like really good voices like are the ones that started coming up, and they don't need to do all that. Like they can live and die by their voice. So you don't see as many people who are doing the whole performance, like they used to.
Beyonce's still doing it.
I was like, Beyonce will give everyone a run for their money. So, can't count her out of any conversation, really.
True. I still think Teyana Taylor watches her. Yeah, I said it. I said Teyana Taylor watches Beyonce dancing. Fight me in the comments.
I don't agree. So I was like, I'm gonna
Didn't she just blow out a knee? Didn't she just blow out a knee?
I don't know. Did she? Oh man,
I heard something about she got injured on her tour.
Oh man.
But yeah, I said what I said. I got your back, Teyana Taylor.
I think you're thinking of Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny messed up his knee.
No, I heard Beyonce too. Yeah,
Beyonce
too. But to be fair, Beyonce be doing a lot, and she is who she is. So you can never count her out. But like I said, because this stemmed from people were talking about greatest females rappers or artists like of this, like right now, right? Who's the female big three? Because I did hear that conversation not too long ago. So I just wanted to kind of like comment on that. Who would you say is the big three right now when it comes to female rap?
Female rap?
Female rap. We'll get away from R&B a little bit. We'll switch to rap. Female rap big three.
Female rap big three. That's hard.
It ain't
I'm trying to think like
it ain't that hard. He making it out to be, it ain't that hard.
I don't know. It's hard.
Okay, why
I'm thinking Doechii, right?
Okay.
She would definitely have to be in that conversation.
Okay.
I think the last two are hard because I feel like as an artist, she is the person that is.
Listen, you got two more slots, man. Who's your big three right now? Right now.
Be.
You said Doechii.
I would say Glow and
Okay, Glow.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay, I see what you
Based
did.
off
All dark skinned
popularity.
women. I see what you do. I see what you're going for. Whatever. You know?
Wait, is
I see
Glow
what you-
considered dark skin now?
She ain't no Ice Spice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely not.
Oh man. That's interesting. Okay, so my big three, Meg Thee Stallion. She's my number one.
I think she has to be the most
to me,
popular.
to me
probably.
she's my number one. Second would be Glorilla. And then my third is controversial, but Doja Cat.
Oh, I forgot about her.
I
forgot about her, but I was like, I don't consider her rap like that.
But she got bars. Like when I get what you're saying, but then if that's the case, you can say the same for Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't include her. No,
Got it.
I was like, it's also like, she had like her like big chunky years where she was reigning, and I was like, it's not the same now. Like she's hung back a little bit.
We
more
did
now.
say right now too. So
Yeah,
just to be
so
clear,
right
we're
now,
not talking about like
all time.
Yeah, exactly. Nicki would be on there if we're talking about all time.
Yeah.
But we're just talking about like right now. And Doja is still putting out music. She just dropped a song or whatever. She just performed, I think, recently. And so yeah, for me, that would be my big three. But it's definitely an interesting conversation because, yeah, like I said, though, there's like two people, like Dochi's having a phenomenal year, so I can see why, people would throw her up there. Stylistically, that she's not she's talented, but just not in my top. At least not yet. I guess I gotta see some more projects and see how I feel about it. Like I said, the album she put out for what was her freshman album, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's great, but I want to see what that.
She's more unique.
Yeah, it is
like
definitely
she's
different.
Really an artist with her music. Like I think of like Kendrick and like people like that.
That would make sense. She around him
into their art,
like. But see, I'm like I said, I've been a big fan of Megan since she came out because she write, a lot of her music, and I think Megan's talented enough to hang with men. Like if she really sat down and like put her pen to work, I think she really can put out some bars. I think what she's doing now is she's really tapped into that global market, so she's been doing more global collaborations. She's been doing anything with the K-pop and like then she was on Love Island, and
I was loving that.
Yeah, but it's how you get to that next level. She's
doing her thing.
All of them eventually go that route. Well, most of them. I don't want to say all of them because Lauryn Hill never went that route. And she never needed to. And I want to make that clear. They don't need to go that route. Just sometimes it's what your goal is. Sometimes people will stay purely one genre, and then sometimes people will branch out into like other genres and maybe want to like test themselves or maybe want to try something different. And so I'm not knocking it, but most of the new ones these days, eventually they get big enough, they start doing it. They start doing collabs with, and I think Meg is killing it with the K-pop collabs. It's smart. It's a smart move, really tapping into that market globally. So yeah, I don't see, and then like I said, I don't, just from how she came up and everything like that, I don't see how she can't be in that conversation. So Meg's definitely in there. Yeah. Glow's, is doing her thing. I hope, since I'm speaking on Glow, and this is because I'm a fan of hers, I really hope she eventually does like Megan does and eventually gets her contract sorted out. And the reason I say that is, listen, I get where, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I seen a video recently where Gotti got her a car for, I don't know if it was like her birthday. I think it was for her birthday, right? And anytime like the manager of your label, whatever, does that, in my head I'm like, well, it's your money, so I mean, that's the least they can do. You know what I mean? From my understanding, she does not own her music. And so You know,
Yeah, and that's the case for a lot of artists when they're first starting out.
right, right. So that's normal. That's not like, you know, she's not unique in that situation. But I hope she eventually gets ownership of her music, kind of like how J. Cole did eventually, where he was like, okay, for my second album, I just want my masters or whatever, you know, or want, you know, like I want to try to like own my music, because I believe it was the second or third, he was trying to work out a deal to kind of get his master. So instead of asking for more money, Rhea was like, no, I just want more masters from my first one. Like, give me masters from like my first album, and then I'll do the second and third album, but it's just at least, you know, like trying to own your music. And I think that I hope she eventually gets like, you know, ownership of her music.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that really she's kind of like, you know, just like a salaried employee with bonuses, performance bonuses. And
Man,
you know,
heard this. That's crazy.
Yeah, and so, but again, it's kind of normal when people are putting so much money into like a new act and stuff like that. I'm not dissing that, but I'm just never. There's always controversy, right? Because Megan went through the same thing, right? Like smaller label with Jay Prince and the retired baseball player. I forget his name because she had to go to court and all that. And,
I remember.
you know, and so. And like, you know, there's two sides of it. One will be like, oh, well, we always develop these artists and they want to go off and go to a bigger label, and you know, like, so, you know, yeah, we're not trying to let them. We're not putting all this money in developing them just for them to leave, but it's also business too. Like, you know, like they're
be a bigger label then.
yeah, like, you know,
obviously it don't work like that,
right? And so, I mean, that's always the goal. So I can't get mad at an artist for wanting to evolve and eventually work with all these top producers and collab with these other top artists. So I just hope that's a smooth transition, because eventually the route that she's going, that will happen. I mean, I don't know. She's you know, she says she locked in for life and stuff like that. I just feel like I hope because I hate to see. There's a few artists right now that are going through that had top hits, and they out here doing SeaWorld performances because the money ain't what it should be. And I'm not saying that they not. I'm not calling nobody broke or nothing like that, but you know what I mean. Like
the SeaWorld performance.
Fat Joe, man. Yin Yang Twins. Yeah, it's been a few of them. God. You know. Yeah.
You're gonna be making money off that.
I seen the crowd. It don't
SeaWorld.
Them SeaWorld tickets ain't that much, you know. And so, you know, I hate to see that. And then you think about the hits that they had and how big they, you know, I'm thinking about some of these DJ Khaled hits and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know, like some ain't really like adding up. You know, yeah. And that's just the music business overall. You know, a lot of people had messed up contracts. And so I would like to see more artists have, you know, good retirement, good contracts, making money off their music, even after they done. I know like that's not always the case, but I just, you know, the more you know, you can kind of prepare. That's why I say J. Cole was so smart, because he was thinking about the bigger picture, as he, you know, like he was really learning.
Got his own label.
Exactly. And so I want to see the same for the female side too. Like I don't want to hear about females with messed up, you know, female artists with messed up contracts. So, but anyway, yeah, shout out to Glow. Like I said, she's like in my top, whatever. I want to keep seeing her put out the music she putting out. But yeah, that's my big. That's my big three. Obviously, we didn't, you know, name Nicki Minaj or Cardi, and that's really because
Cardi was really close, but she was on hiatus for a little bit.
Exactly, like 8 years, right? I think like 8 years. You know, she got an album dropping. I think like her album drops in like 2 weeks or a week and a half. So, but the
answer might change after that.
The songs I didn't hear, I'm not gonna lie, didn't really move me. I think it's going to do numbers because she is who she is. She's a TV personality who does music. And I think sometimes people forget that like she came up, you know, from TV and then started doing music. And so I feel like that's going to carry her a lot. But we'll see what the numbers is looking like, and then what the album actually does. Like I said, I'm gonna listen. I like Cardi. I really do. I'm just not, and that's partly because I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I'm on the West Coast, so a lot of like how people feel about certain artists don't really translate over here. Like, and what I mean, but not to good music is good music, but we just got a different sound over here, and so it don't always like translate as well. So what's big over there East Coast and other places don't always be as big over here. Like we can give a nod to it, recognize, oh, that was cool, but it don't be like the greatest thing like we ever heard, or like and that's good and bad. And I'll give you an example of that because I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was listening to some of the new like Bay Area artists, some of the new artists that are like coming up and stuff like that, and someone said, Bay Area artists make music just for the Bay, right?
Yeah.
And that's why like they never go nowhere. That's why they never go higher than the Bay Area.
Niche and
yeah. And some of them know that and are okay with that. They will tell you like, listen, I make music for the Bay, and that's it, And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody does music for different reasons. But I also would love to see, a new act from the Bay make music for, the national stage, the big stage, for every, to really, because Too Short and E40, man, they up there. So eventually they about to retire, and so when they do, who are we gonna have from the actual Bay Area who's like, who's gonna carry that torch?
G-Eazy, bro. Actually, what happened to him?
He's still making music, but he spent a lot of time in Europe. Like, he spent a lot of time in Europe and overseas, and I mean, he getting his money over there. But I wouldn't say that he's carrying his torch for. Kehlani is more carrying his torch for us than anything. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I like like rap wise, I don't know who. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see. It doesn't. The future doesn't look bright. I don't see nobody really coming out and really carrying that. And shout out to Mozzie. I mean, he's from SAC, but at least
he went to claim Sacramento.
At least he works with a lot of different artists, right?
I like him a lot.
He works for a lot. He works with a lot of different artists, so I give him that. He's putting in the work. He does have like a unique sound. He almost reminds me of like Nas. Like, you either like it or you don't. Like, you either like the voice, because I've heard that complaint. Some people used to say that about Nas or whatever. It's like, yeah, he spit real stuff, but it's like his delivery. And I can kind of see that, because that's the way I feel about Jay-Z or whatever.
I was about to say, that's how I feel about Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I actually like Nas.
Me too. Like, I'm a big Nas fan or whatever. I'll take Nas over Jay-Z any day, right? That's just me, right? His delivery just kind of like is more my style. And so, yeah, like that's what I was thinking about, and that's why I was trying to like tie it all in. Is that and it goes to the whole right now Atlanta. There's a lot of things going on in Atlanta right now, and again, Atlanta has been up for a while now, right? They've been winning, but clearly there's a little bit of a divide going on over there. I think we all know why there's a divide. I guess we could just get into it. Young Thug. Young Thug.
You need to check your phone to remember his name. You don't remember Young Thug.
No, I knew his name. I just was making sure I didn't have anything left to say about the other topic I just left. But so yeah, we're gonna get into it. Young Thug leak calls, man. What you think about it?
Man. Some people just need to keep some things to themselves, man. Just keep your opinion to themselves. Like, why are you talking about somebody ugly?
My girl too. See, you dissing my girl Glow, like
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I love Glorilla, so. But yeah, I was like, there was that. There was.
Hold on. Before you leave that, did you see the response where he tried to clean it up? Called her twin.
I seen people retweet it like, you just called her ugly again. That's crazy.
I wasn't as offended from the original call, and I was more offended from calling her twin.
Yeah, no, I was like, he's
That would have hurt my
tripping,
feelings if
man.
I was glowing. Twin, twin.
Nah, you ugly as hell.
I was gonna let it slide because you
Yeah.
in jail, people say stuff, but now you ain't got no excuse. You just called me twin. Like,
Yeah, that's like, got no remorse for you.
right? That is crazy. Yeah, man. So what? So you think people just got too much time on their hand? So
No, he definitely. I was like, there's definitely some things in there, like for example, like them, turning on Gunna.
right.
It's crazy, and it being like a calculated thing. Like they thought people were gonna agree with them in the same fashion that they felt, and I was like, we don't move like that.
Exactly.
I was like, and it's not only that, but it's just like anyone who understands the legal jargon that they're using to describe his Gunna situation specifically, like you understand that he didn't do what y'all trying to say he did. So when you're trying to explain that to people who actually understand that, and then there's people now on the inside, like the that one reporter who's been reporting on a lot of, I think her name's like Megan. They call her Megan the reporter. That lady who's actually been divulging this information by a lot of these things is explained pretty plainly like that he did not do what y'all are trying to say he did. Now it's like we can't just take your word for it. Like you got off, so it's like either way, like I don't know why you're like hanging on to that. But
Well, Young Thug did an interview recently with a very prominent I guess he's a podcaster, but he's more than a podcaster. He's been the voice of a lot of like Atlanta media for a while. I cannot think of his name right now.
Yeah.
Please go look him up. Very talented guy. I checked out some of his work and real dude. Like like he's doing a lot of positive stuff. And from what I've heard, he's been through some stuff, so he ain't just be talking or whatever. He actually can speak to it, and that's actually why Thug went and sat down with him. And I heard a little bit of like the clips of like the podcast and everything. And first off, to your earlier point, I think initially with even what Thug was trying to say, the reason he was so upset was because Gunna admitted, by like they were trying to say it wasn't a gang, and then him saying it is a gang, he felt like was a direct betrayal, because it's like, why would you say we are a gang if we sitting over here trying to say we're not a gang and you say we're a gang? Even if even they didn't even end up using that against them, but it was just the fact that he said it alone, and it could have been used against him as to why he felt so hurt. And so in the clip that I seen that Doug was trying to say, it was like, man, I did so much. He just felt betrayed. He felt like, oh, he did so much for Gunna, and he spent more time with him than his kids. Which, don't ever do that. Don't ever spend more time with another man over your kids. Just also, for the people out there.
I was like, if you put so much into him, why would you allow him to come into this situation that you've created for yourself?
Great point. So
I was like, I understand that sentiment, but I was like, at the same time, I was like, you did this. You put him in a position to have to choose between his life and yours.
Great
point. I know people want people to choose, their life because that's their selfish thought. But I was like, at the same time, he got to look out for him. And
I agree.
Especially if you're not involved in anything that you really doing. Like I was like, for me, like my mentality is like I'd have to take that on the chin. Like I'm not gonna let somebody who wasn't involved or is innocent take the rap for me. Like I understand people talking about like no snitching, but if he don't snitch, I'm still gonna take that shit.
You got some of that Bobby Schmurder in you, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
You like, listen, man, I'll take more, time or whatever if you let my mans off or whatever. For listen, I'm not mad at it. Like I agree with you 100%. If you feel that way and y'all was so close, why would you bring him into that situation? Why would you allow him to be exposed like that? From my understanding, Gunna was just an artist. He wasn't a street dude like that, and so I can't be mad at him, and I can't expect street loyalty from a guy who not a street dude. No matter how much time and I done spent with him and money I done spent on him, like And when he got out, he went right back to work. So it ain't like he was helping you by being successful.
Yeah, it's not even like he was dissing you back or anything.
Yeah, like he been quiet. He been quiet this whole time.
This whole time.
So I think it's more so from what I got out of the view, he there was more hurt than anything. But I gotta call hypocrisy when I see it though. It's like as much as he was hurt and all the stuff betrayal, nigga. You them calls, like, you want to talk about betrayal? Like,
oh yeah, I was like, you want to talk about betrayal?
Yeah, like at the same time, you was doing a lot of betrayal too. All the shit you was saying, like, you was saying a lot of stuff,
Oh my
and I know people like him and they keep trying to defend it, but come on, bro, like what I mean, like he was doing a lot of
trifling for sure.
a lot of talking, man, a lot of talking, I know Mariah, the scientist, was like, nigga, you want to talk about betrayal?
Betrayal, yeah.
I feel betrayed.
I was about to say. I was like, and more keep coming out. Like, it's not like, oh my God.
So, I just don't, I don't know.
Can't buy it.
I don't get it. Like, that's all I really got to say about it. It's like one of those things. And like, when it came out, honestly, I wasn't surprised. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like it didn't. I wasn't like, oh my God. Like some people are saying like, oh, that's 2 years or whatever. I can understand it, but it's funny because had it been like somebody else, like had like Gunna got locked up or something like that, or had some recording, then people see what we talking about. See, he even talking on the phone. So I think they pick and choose when to apply street rules depending on if they like you or not. Like if they like you, then they'll defend it. Like the people who ride for him, no matter what he says on there, because even there was leak where he was like in the interrogation room, he gave us somebody's name, and it was like, oh well, but it wasn't used against him or anything like that. But
that's the same thing you were getting on Gunna about.
Exactly right. But because people like him or whatever, then it's excusable, and so therefore, he didn't violate street rules and street code. It's so confusing. Like I said, they move the goalposts for that all the time. My understanding used to be like, if me and you do a crime together and we grew up and you ain't gonna snitch on me to take less time or whatever. That was my only understanding of like how it's supposed to be. But as far as anything else or whatever, like people snitch all the time. Let's be real. Like, people snitch on their ops all the time. And so I just, like that, they need to just leave that alone, man. Like that. And to be real with you, most people don't care. Like I said, we only care. I'm in it for the music. So whoever puts out the best music is who I'm listening to. And what I've learned from all of this is 21 Savage is the most realist, man. Because like I said, I listened to them two talking, Thug and 21 Savage, and he was giving him the realest advice. Like I really do. 21 Savage is a very intelligent, bright dude, and I just feel like Thug should have kind of like listened to him and listened to his advice. But people gonna do what they're gonna do, and it just hasn't panned out. And so, my question to you is, do you see Thug coming back from this? Like, can you think he'll ever be back on top of the charts? Do you think, like, how do you think this plays out? If you Gunna, would you ever want to work with Thug again?
I don't know. I feel like a one-time reunion collab kind of thing might be cool, just for like a song. But we're talking about like business.
Yeah,
like that would be for business, relationship wise. Like I don't know about that, because not only did you put me in a position where I might have to do time for you, you then tried to destroy my career after that. Because you know what you're doing when you try to label someone as a rat in an industry like this. Like you know what you're doing. I was like, so if you're gonna try to do me like that twice, I don't think we could have like a personal thing. Like we could make a song.
That's a good point.
But
yeah, if it's me personally, I wouldn't, because of everything you just said. And it's like you really tried to, like, had you got out and we had a conversation, or you just kept it quiet, I kept it quiet, and we had like a backroom conversation, maybe. but you got out and was really like subbing me and really trying to turn your fan base on me and really trying to turn the city on me.
Yeah,
like,
not only the city, but like society in general.
Yeah.
He thought people were gonna ride on his side, but it just didn't work out like that.
Right. And so because it didn't work out, now it's like, oh, I was hurt and betrayed. But had it worked out the way that maybe they thought it was going to work out, I don't think he would be talking about he was hurt and betrayed.
Yeah.
And so that would be my thought process on Gunna. It's like, yeah, but if it would have went the other way, would you still be, And so, but hey, man, I just like good music. So hopefully, good music comes from Young Thug. That Gunna album is amazing.
Yeah, Gunna.
It's a really good album.
I already knew he was.
That album is dope. So I ain't really got much else to say about that. Man, something that I saw recently that I kind of want to point out. Actually, just happened. So Miguel, the singer, I guess his baby just turned 1, and he had his baby boy, and a lot of people were surprised, not that he had a baby, but because they didn't know that he wasn't with his ex-wife, who was, what's her name?
Nazanin Mandy.
Nazanin Mandy.
Something like that.
So he's not with her. I don't know how long they've been broken up. I think for a while though.
Yeah.
And his actual baby mom, I don't think they're married, but the girl he had a baby with, her name is Margaret Zhang. Chinese woman. I think she works for Vogue China, or did work for Vogue China. Man, they was going in on the comments. Women were, they without even knowing the situation, women were like, oh, he played in, his ex-wife's face, for a decade, they were dating.
Did he say that he didn't want to have a baby or something like that?
No, I've never seen the thing where he said that. There was some people saying that he said he wanted to have kids and she couldn't have kids, or she didn't want kids. I don't know if she could have kids, but maybe she didn't want. They were saying that maybe she didn't want kids, and so, but people.
If she didn't want kids, that's usually a pretty big deal breaker for people.
Yeah, and
should have just went their separate ways after that.
Right, because it didn't seem like they had a bad breakup or anything like that. Usually you will know because they'll be on social media blasting them. Right, there was nothing like that. And from my understanding, they had broke up, and then they tried again, they rekindled, and then I guess they broke up again. I don't know, maybe it just didn't work. But what I want to point out is, man, the hypocrisy sometimes of women, they just were going in on this man, and it was like, what else was they saying? Because I believe she's younger. The girl he had a baby, so that's what men always do. They'll waste your good years, and then they'll break up with you and go get a younger girl. Yeah, and it was just like, I just felt like, man, how do you win as a guy? What if we just wanted separate, or they just wanted separate things?
Yeah.
And so, is that his fault now? That can he never? Was he supposed to go with someone else and she had to be older that he had to have a kid with? I don't, in my mind, what would have been the thing that
he kind of...
He's kind of up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were saying that she's 26 or 27 or whatever. But again, so is it, because she's younger? Is it because she's Chinese? What is the issue? I don't understand, right? Because from my understanding, the ex-wife have not said anything bad. She hasn't said anything bad about him or made a statement or anything like that. For all we know, she might be at the baby shower, or was probably there at the baby shower. I don't know if she was. But I'm just saying, we don't know. And so to just automatically jump on him, I just felt like that was kind of unfair. I didn't understand. As a guy, I was reading, I was, oh my God, what did this man do? And I'm a big Miguel fan. He dropped a new song in honor of his, his kid turning 1. And I'm wondering if women gonna stream that. They might boycott it just because, and so, I know, like I said, we're two guys up here with it. I would love to hear a woman's perspective on this, but
I didn't even see all that, so I can't even speak to that too much. But I was like, that's interesting.
Now, let me ask you this: you date a girl for 10 years, you guys break up because you want different things. She goes and she gets a younger, older guy. Does it offend you in any way?
I mean, No, but I also would not have stayed in a relationship for 10 years if we had a glaring issue like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, like, I just wouldn't, you know? I was like, but that's just me. You know, a lot of people be trying to make it work with people that it's not going to work with, and, you know, can't let that go. So
I agree. Now, what if this was the case where they both agreed that they didn't want kids, and then
someone switched up?
Yeah, and then someone switched
Same
up.
thing.
Same thing. But I mean, so at that point or whatever, you know, I don't think it's anyone's fault, right? Like, people grow and people change.
Yeah.
And so if, you know, one day a person's like, hey, you know I said this, but now I think I decided I kind of want this now. You know, I mean, what do you do? Like, I mean,
like, you obviously got to have the conversation, but if you guys don't come to an agreement, then
that is what it is.
I think you should probably just go your separate ways. That's just my opinion, but, you know, it's a lot easier said than done, of course, you know.
Yeah, I think personally, I think it was getting a lot of hate. One, she was younger, and usually when people, especially like when guys, and this is just the thing, guys do tend to, like, when they're in a relationship for a long time and they break up, we do see a lot of celebrities, like, the guy will go younger, sometimes the women will go older, right? But in general, I think women like older guys tend to date younger, you know. Not a lot of guys are like, oh yeah, I want an old woman.
I mean, I don't know about an old woman, but I'll usually go older. That's just
okay.
Me.
Well, he likes cougars,
but no, I was like, but I just mean, like, I'm more emotionally mature than most of the people, you know.
That makes sense.
Age range, so
that makes. But we historically, if you look at it, guys tend to. And I mean,
you're 100%.
I'm not talking about,
you're
like
100%
when you're both in your 20s. I'm talking about like let's say, like, a guy is in his 30s or 40s, and, you know, he's been with a girlfriend or wife for like 5 or 10 years. When they break up, most likely the next girl that he's
going to try to be,
she's gonna be like 27 or something like that. She, you know what I mean? Like, she's gonna be. Look at.
But I probably wouldn't make that decision.
Look at Idris Elba. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
wait, what happened with Idris?
Well, look at his wife or his girl. She's like way younger than him.
Really?
I mean, she's an adult. Like I said, she's in.
No, I didn't. I'm kind of out of the loop.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, in his 50s or
60s or 60s.
And she's like 30 in her 30s. I don't even think she's like in her 40s. He went, yeah, I mean, that tends to be, I mean, look at.
Let that shit. Hey, man, Shannon Sharp, y'all not hear that?
Well,
I just feel like I just want to point
out he's married, so this isn't somebody he's just messing with or whatever. Or like, he's been married for a while, but she is some years, like quite a few, like, you know, some years younger than he is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like what do y'all have in common?
Okay, well, what you say about Carucci and Coach Brian?
That's the same thing. I was like, why?
Oh, he's not a fan.
Like, why? I was like, all right, man. Like, dude don't even have toes. Like, now he already have his other surgery. Like, I was like, that man has way more things to be dealing with than a relationship. Not that he doesn't deserve a relationship. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you might want to focus on your health and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe she helping him. You see, she was at the hospital. I don't know if you ever saw that clip. She was at the hospital.
She was. Exactly. Yeah. So she holding him down. She holding him down. Yeah. But I was like, man.
A younger girl gonna have energy to do that. Listen, a woman Coach Prime's age, maybe she can't be, doing all that. That's a lot of bending down and bending over to, change bandages and, like, I'm just saying, like, maybe this was, strategically thought out. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, but I'm just saying. You see, it just seems to be the thing where they tend to go younger, and women just tend to go older.
Yeah.
Look who Summer Walker brought to the VMAs.
I was like, oh, sugar daddy, why you bring him out here? Put him back to sleep. He needed to
listen, I personally don't think they're dating. I think Summer Walker did that for the outfit. I assume when I first saw that, I thought it was a part of her outfit. I thought she was dressed like a sugar baby, and that was like her theme or whatever. Like, she was sweet like sugar, and here's her sugar daddy. Like, that's what I thought. I didn't think much of it. I didn't actually think that they were dating.
I didn't either, but I just thought
it didn't give me dating vibes. I mean, like that's not what I saw. She said for us to mind her business, and that was her friend. And so I honestly don't care enough. I'm gonna mind my business, and that is whoever she say it is or whatever. Like, it didn't. I thought it was a part of the outfit, to be honest. I thought he was a prop. That's what I thought it was or whatever. And it was a pretty cool prop, you know? Like I didn't have a problem with it. I was like, oh, okay, look at Summer Walker with it. She didn't really want the extra mile. It is the Video Music Awards, you know, like, you know, she brought her out, you know, something to go along with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like if she had brought him out at the Met Gala, it would have been on point, you know? Like, you know, they always try to go over.
Yeah.
You know, if what's her name? Lady Gaga can wear meat, then I can bring out a white man as a prop. You know, that's what I thought. But yeah, that's all I really had to say about the shout out to Miguel. The song is dope. Congratulations, you know, on your son turning 1. And I am happy for you. And I just feel like we need to stop, you know, being so negative or whatever when we don't know people's like situation. If someone comes out and says something, that's one thing, but like without even knowing it, I think we just, you know, we have these images of people and we want it to be so true, right? Like you see two people together, oh, they look so great together. And then it's me, you know, when they break up, it's like, oh, someone must have messed up. The guy must have did something, or maybe she cheated or something, right? And sometimes it's not even the case, you know? Like sometimes people just grow apart and like, it's just, you know, like, it's just a natural thing sometimes. Anyway, now let's get into, man, a lot of stuff going on with, like, fights. You know, fight news.
Fight predictions.
Yeah, fight predictions. Well, before I get into fight predictions, did you see the images of The Rock and him losing all his weight that people were talking about? Mm-hmm. I first off want to say, he looks great. This is great to me. Like I said, like, you know, I like.
You don't need another Chadwick Boseman situation.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So you never know what people are going through. So like,
it's hard to keep up the size that he was at.
And he's like what, in his 50s? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like.
So there's that, and then, you know, automatically people were like, oh, you know, because he stopped taking roids, blah blah blah. He could be doing a movie, like, you know, he could be preparing for another role.
Yeah, I was like, maybe he needed to slim down for this role. You know?
Exactly, he could be doing another movie, right? You know, we just don't know, or it could be other things. So I tend not to automatically like, because people are like going in on him, like, oh, he's finally been exposed and all this and that. I'm like, this didn't expose anything. It just lost some weight. And let's not forget, some of you guys were talking like, you could run up on The Rock. The Rock is still like 6'5" or whatever, 6'5", 6'8" or whatever. And you look at him, he still will knock you out. Like, he still had muscle, you know. So y'all making it seem like he was like just this small, like skinny dude. Like he was like Christian Bale in that movie The Fighter, or like 50 Cent when he got really skinny for that one movie or whatever. You know, he ain't that.
Which I still don't even know what the name of that movie.
I don't.
Was. Like, it did ever even come out?
It did, but I didn't watch it. I don't know. But yeah, so I was really making it seem like he was just like anorexic. I'm like, bro, that dude look good, and he is still a big dude. Like, so don't get it, you know, twisted or whatever. I seen like so many people just talking crazy with it. Oh, The Rock's like slipped down or whatever. Oh, he's like average. Like that dude's still not average, man. That still a big guy.
Definitely big. And
so I didn't have too much to say about it. I think he looks good. Shout out to him. I hear this movie he just did.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be really dope.
Yeah.
That's coming out. About the UFC fighter, right? Like, I think it's Mark Hunt. Is it Mark Hunt?
No, not Mark Hunt.
Not Mark Hunt.
Why am I blanking on it?
Are you sure?
Yeah, is it Mark Hunt? No, I don't think.
No, it's not Mark Hunt. You're right. Is it? Let me see.
You probably search Mark.
I'm about to look it up right now. Rock new movie. It's called
The Smashing Machine.
The Smashing Machine. I'm trying to see Mark Kerr.
Yeah, Mark Kerr. Yeah.
Pioneer Mark Kerr. That's who it's about.
Would you name your kid Mark Kerr? Marker. That's crazy.
Well, his last name's Kerr, so you know, like, I mean, listen, names weren't too advanced back then. You know, and
it wasn't that long ago.
Okay. Mark Kerr, see this clip?
Man, your kid after a Sharpie. That's crazy.
And that's why he was fighting in MMA or whatever. People like he was talking about his name, and he went in there knocking people out.
Why your parents name you after a writing utensil?
He put you in that headlock, man. But no, so yeah, I think the movie's gonna be dope. I hear he actually put in a lot of work for it, so I can't wait to see it when it comes out.
Which I'm happy for because he really stuck to his role like over the years. Like he basically just played The Rock and everything. So it's cool to see him get out of his shell.
Right. So with that being said, there's a rumor that there's a Francis and Wilder fight.
Yeah, that's been in talks for a while.
And that's Francis and
Francis Ngannou.
Francis Ngannou from MMA, who now does boxing, versus Deontay Wilder. They're supposedly trying to get that set up. We don't know if it's going to happen, but I just thought it was interesting because, these are both people who are known for their power.
Yeah, this would be crazy money. I don't know who would win that because I don't know. Francis Ngannou did pretty well against Tyson Fury, but I haven't thought very highly of Tyson Fury in a while. So,
well, didn't he get knocked out?
He got knocked out by Anthony Joshua.
Exactly.
Though. But Anthony Joshua is more like I don't know. He's more like conditioned and more, I feel like, the typical boxer build, especially for his size. Like I feel like Tyson Fury is just a big dude who got to prey on a lot of smaller guys. Yes. Not that he doesn't have skill. He's obviously a very skilled boxer. But I do think that him being as big as he is the reason why he has had the success that he's had. It's like I think that especially with like the Deontay Wilder trilogy, like Deontay Wilder already being probably the smallest heavyweight there is, up in that, the higher part of the division. Like that was always going to be favored towards, Tyson Fury. The fact that Deontay Wilder did as well as he did is something that I commend him for because there's no reason for him to be as small as he is knocking everybody out. I
agree with that. He does not get enough credit, I feel like, for that. With that being said, I do see what you're saying, and this is why I think that's a good matchup for these two. Will make it would make them both money, right? Which no one ever says I have too much money. Mm-hmm. Two, I think it's a more even. I think both of them have a puncher's chance.
Yeah,
because Deontay Wilder is known for a puncher's chance, and known for just one good punch putting people out. Francis is known for like his crazy power, and so I feel like this would be and if he wins, if Deontay Wilder wins, this actually could set him up for a potential fight with Anthony Joshua. Am I saying it right? Is Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, Anthony.
It always throws me off because this guy got two first names. But
call him Joshua Anthony.
Anthony Joshua, the Anthony Joshua and Wilder fight never happened. We always wanted it to happen. It was always like, what if? And and Anthony Joshua, I think, is coming off of a knockout too. He got knocked out, I think, in his last professional fight
against Daniel Dubois.
And so this could be a good setup for that because Joshua beat I don't know. I just feel like they can make it work. That's what I'm doing. If I'm Wilder,
they've been trying to do it for a long time.
Yeah, but if I'm Wilder, after I would. That's what the next fight I would be calling out after the Francis fight. Why not try to get that going? I mean, I think if I'm Anthony Joshua, might as well at this point or whatever, because he can't.
Yeah, you guys are just gonna hang him up after. So.
Exactly. Like you don't probably have too many more fights like at this point.
Deontay Wilder, especially, he needs.
Yep. He's up there from a boxing perspective. Or he's definitely up there. And then I don't think Anthony Joshua's chin is there anymore. Like he really can't take a hit.
Wilder's not either. So.
That's what I'm saying. Better. You both got
whoever gets hit first.
Yes, it will probably be something like that. Whoever gets hit first. But yeah, I think that would be an interesting fight. I would love to see it. With that being said, I want to talk about because there's a lot of opinions about that. Well, okay, so we have that fight. We also have some exhibition fights. We have. Well, first we'll talk about is it Jake versus
Jake Paul versus
Tank. First initial thoughts.
stupid, man. I'm tired of Tank, bro. Like, really disappointed in the way he took his career. Like, I mean, I understand he just wanted money out of it, but
it's a lot of money. It ain't just some money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I was like, I just feel like he could have been, the next best thing, and
do you
he
think
dodged all the toughest opponents? And
so? Do you think by taking this fight, he still can't take those other fights?
he doesn't want to. He said he was retiring.
I mean, it's
that, yeah. So he was supposed to be done. So
money talks.
Doesn't want to. Yeah, money talks, but money's talked for a long time, and there are certain people he did not want to fight. So I was like, I don't think there was enough money on the table for those people, and that's all that tells me.
I don't think first of all, I don't think he's going to retire. I think what happens is he does the whole Floyd Mayweather, or they all do that,
But Floyd Mayweather really fought like the top guys.
That is true, but what I'm saying is, like, Floyd Mayweather used to say when he got towards like the end of his career, he kept saying he was going to retire, but then he kept signing up. So I think he takes this fight, wins this fight, and then says he's retiring, and then then eventually
pops up and wants to fight.
Then eventually the money comes up. Because from what I heard, who was the last guy that Tank fought?
Lamont Roach.
I heard that there's supposed to be like a rematch clause, and
there was supposed to be a rematch, and so he said he was done, and then he took this fight.
I think this is just to build up more anticipation and more hype. Personally,
I don't even think so, because
I will bet that Tank will fight again after this fight. After he fights Jake, I guarantee you.
But I don't know if he's gonna fight who he needs to fight. Is what I'm trying.
Okay,
to say.
so I can't say. I can't say if he's gonna fight who he needs to fight. But I don't think this is for his official last fight. I think money talks. I think this is just an easy payday. I think this is a quick payday.
Yeah, it's just him trying to get some more money.
He might. I don't see it. I see what you're saying. Where it's like, I think he is like Canelo. He possessed all the skills to be kind of how like Canelo. Size wise, he can't go up on all those different weight classes and collect all those belts. That's just not him. But to me, he was just like a different version of Canelo, and I believe he has the fighting IQ, and he has the ability, he has the power and all that to be as great as Canelo is in his own right. But I think the difference between the two is, I will say, there's a few things that Tank has working against him. Is Canelo is very disciplined inside the ring and outside the ring, and I think the biggest problem that's changed Tank's career is outside the ring. He is not so disciplined, and he has had a lot of troubles outside the ring. He's been in and out of jail. He's had domestic violence, incidents, and I just feel like that has really taken effect on his actual career. And so when I think about that, there is a chance maybe he, gets his money and then rides off into the sunset. But if I'm a betting man, I don't see that. I think he'll at least have like another fight, because again, money talks, and maybe he's made enough money to maintain his lifestyle, but he's also so young. And so because he's so young, I feel like eventually, they get to a point where it's like, man, I can go in here and collect this money, again, or whatever, why not? So I'm going to say he's probably going to fight again. I do see what you're saying. And that's a problem that's kind of... And so with that being said, I'm just going to say this. Exhibition fights like this is ruining. It has been a downfall of boxing. It's been exhibition fights, and it's been the ability to dodge the tough opponents and the people that need to be fighting. Yeah, for paydays.
But the thing is, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think it's cool for entertainment. But I think that, they should not make it an exhibition. I was like, you should actually be risking something if you're going to go and do this.
Then I would agree with that. It should
be a sanctioned thing. Like if you felt like this was just a walk in the park, then why not?
See, and that's what I'm trying to say is, like, the fact that it's an exhibition to me is something that boxing needs to address, because it's allowing people to be like, listen, I just get popular and then I go have an exhibition fight and then I don't have to. There's a lot of like fluff in boxing. Like you can keep an undefeated record by not fighting
the top dudes, and then see that's why I can't that's why I can't get with people like Tank. Like he has a 0, but I was like, you have at no point fought any.
Whoa, listen, he's fought some tough people. Ain't like he ain't fight nobody.
I mean,
Pitbull was.
Pitbull, yeah, but that's about it. Like, that's about it.
So just one? You don't think nobody? You don't think Lamont Roach or whatever?
Lamont Roach is good, but he's ducking Lamont Roach. So
I mean, well, he knocked him out the first time, so he didn't duck him. He beat him.
What are you talking about?
Didn't they fight?
Yeah, they fought. He didn't knock anybody out.
Okay, well,
they drew.
Okay, Drew. Sorry,
so I was
I was thinking of the guy before that.
Who was it? Oh, him. Oh, yeah. But he was someone from a different weight class. Yeah, I was like 1 or 2 weight classes.
Yeah, I was thinking of the guy before that. Sorry.
Yeah.
But again, they went to a draw. I agree with you. Yeah, they should kind of like finish that off, whatever. But he still fought him, so he didn't duck him. If I fought you, I didn't duck you.
But if I fight you thinking that you are beneath me, and then I find out, oh shit, you can hang with me, and then you're like, I'm not doing the same.
Did he think that, or did he just take?
100%, because Lamont Roach was not up there either. For the people who he should have been considering for his level, I was like, that wasn't someone who would have been on that list. I feel like, even though I do think that Lamont Roach is a good boxer.
So who's on that list? You that you keep.
It was Shakur Stevenson. Been ducking Shakur Stevenson for forever. He ducked Devin Haney when he was in that weight class.
I think
he ducked Teofimo Lopez. Like all these boxers should be fighting each other.
If I'm Tank, I would definitely take the Devin Haney fight or whatever.
Yeah, no, I was like, I don't. But now, Devin Haney's also it's a mutual ducking. Like
I would definitely take. I would definitely take that fight
it now for sure.
I would definitely
take that fight too many times.
Yeah, I would definitely take that fight. I would not put him in that top 3 that you.
Yeah. Lomachenko.
He's
Lomachenko, like I said, is also. It's not just Tank.
Yeah,
so I can't just blame Tank.
It's like all of them do it.
Everybody doing it. The only person who I really feel like really wanted to fight everybody was Shakur Stevenson, and that's why I give him credit. I was like, but everyone has decked him.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with boxing is you can get away with not fighting the top guys, and I feel like all these exhibition matches are kind of ruining the sport in a way. Yeah, it's entertaining, but then it's like there's no motivation to have the tough fights.
Yeah,
I can just get an unbeaten record and then eventually have exhibition matches and then like win a lot of money. So
yeah,
what's the motivation of fighting, like taking the risk? And it's always been a business. So on that end, I understand it. People want to make as much money as they can and then get out. Feed your family, take care of your family, and then get out. So I don't all the way knock it. I just think, I think prize fighting in general the mentality has changed, right? It's and I don't think it's just in boxing. I think in most sports today, I think people realize that it is a business first, and that championships and legacy and all that don't mean as much as it used to back in the day, and people don't feel the same way about it. And so because of that, I feel like they just ain't nobody really talking about that no more. No one is on that. And so now it's just about make as much money as I can and get out, right? And you see that more in the NBA, you see that in NFL, you see that in boxing, you see it in UFC, but you see more people being like, listen, I'm trying to take as many easy fights as I can, stack up, build my brand, right? And then go do a podcast or go do Twitch or whatever, and then, make as much money off of that as I can. The titles just don't mean as much as maybe they used to mentality-wise. Like back in the day, there was so much emphasis on being a champion and having this but now I feel like it's more about being able to feed your family and maintain a certain lifestyle. And I honestly can't be mad at that, because the truth of the reality is as fans, we don't care. Like legacy is great, but we move on fast. You know, and there's always going to be some new guy that comes up that we're going to compare you to, or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we're always going to say like, oh yeah, like that guy was great, but this new guy, I think this new guy would have beat him or whatever had they fought. This is, you know, so at the end of the day, like, yeah, he was great. His, you know, he did a lot, but you know, we're going to change. You know, there's just going to be a new person, and so, and the reason I say this, kind of like the whole John Jones situation. There's always a new guy, right? And you know, first off, let me say, I absolutely think John Jones should have just fought Tom, and, you know, just to like, you know, just to get it out the way. But to his point, people who have been telling them this, every new guy or whatever that came up, there's always been like somebody, right? You know, like, oh, this is gonna be a, this is gonna be a, this is gonna be a guy, and you know, so if you're fighting just for that, you know what I mean, you're always gonna you're gonna fight until you lose. Eventually you will lose.
And that's
right?
that's kind of what they want.
Yeah, they people as fans, they want you, we want to build you up just so we can see you get destroyed. You know, so we want to see you win, and then we want to see the new prospect who's really good and knock you out. Right? We want, you know, and so I think John was smart in the sense where he was like, nah, I'm gonna get out, you know. I'm gonna get my money and I'm gonna cut, you know. And John Jones suffers from the same thing that I said that Tank suffers from, is had his outside career in, like, you know, his outside personal life been, you know, right, he probably would be an even better champion today than he already is, you know. And I know, like I said, he was like, well, what's, you know, he's undefeated now, and what's even better. But I think some of those fights that were questionable or closer, I don't think would have been as close had he been as focused, you know, outside the ring as he was inside the ring. And that's what I hate to see, because sometimes I feel like their outside, you know, the ring incidents kind of overshadow what they've accomplished.
Yeah.
And understandable too, like, you know, because when, you know, you hit, no one likes a hit and run, you know, and stuff like that. And so yeah, I kind of hate to see it, because I think, like I said, he's very talented. He is, there's to be, you know, GOAT status. But, you know, like I feel like there's always going to be another guy. And like I said, Tom Aspinall is good. We'll see how he does against Ciryl Gane. A lot of people are just saying like, oh, he's just going to like go through Ciryl Gane. I got to tell you, styles make fights. And the way that Ciryl Gane fights, he's a very like hit and get out, and he has the reach to do that. So I definitely can see a fight where he hits and moves, and he can win at all points. He when you're at heavyweight, everybody possesses power to knock each other out, because they're, you know, that's a lot of weight being thrown around.
Yeah.
But and Ciryl Gane can box. Like he you know, for MMA boxing, he does have hands. Like, but it's a very hit and move. Where Tom Aspinall is very like 1-2 knockout. And so I think it's going to be a more interesting fight than people are necessarily like thinking it's going to be, you know, like, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, back to what I was saying about exhibition and like boxing. That's the reality of the situation, is that, you know, all these exhibition matches, we are never going to see the matches that as boxing fans we want to see or we should have saw, and we just gotta get used to that or whatever. You're never gonna see the big three or the big four that you mentioned fight each other.
Yeah,
it's just not gonna go down. They're gonna protect their records. They're gonna keep, you know, avoiding each other. And that's just, unless the rules in boxing changes, and like
people just need to stop shaming people for losing. People win and lose all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it too. Well, it's a money thing though. Like when you're undefeated, you can negotiate for much higher pay than you can, and you can duck people that you need to duck or whatever when you're undefeated. Like, well, I'm undefeated. Why would me, an undefeated guy, fight that guy who has 1 loss or 2 losses? You have all the cards. So I think part of that too is to have the negotiating power. But again, I think that's a business. There's a boxing business problem in itself or whatever. The fact that they can do that, the whole industry needs to reform. Yeah. Right. I've always felt like there's too many titles too. There's too many organizations,
especially in boxing.
And boxing, yeah, there's too many. There's too many of them. So I feel like that needs to be unified better. You know, get rid of. It's kind of like how you felt about the awards. Too many award shows. Too many titles.
Yeah.
You know. Like. So yeah. And on that note, there is another fight, that exposition fight that was announced. Mayweather versus Mike Tyson.
Waste.
Thoughts?
It's money. I was like,
we know it's money.
We saw what Mike Tyson looked like. He doesn't need to be doing any of that. Does not need to be doing any of that. Rarely handle Jake Paul. You want to get sparked by Floyd Mayweather?
I don't even like seeing fights where people have such a difference in weight.
Not only a weight, but like just like their health difference. Like Mike Tyson is not.
I don't know.
This is just
at this
a bad
point
decision. Like Floyd Mayweather has stayed pretty clean in terms of taking hits his whole career. We're not talking about someone who's had to slug it out like Mike Tyson. Not to mention like allowed it to happen just from sheer will. You know, I don't think this is a good idea, but you know,
I don't think Mike
make some money.
I don't think Mike is gonna get hurt. I think this was probably agreed upon that. Hey, listen,
Floyd Mayweather's pretty tame. Like if he really wanted to.
Yeah, no, he's. I don't think he's about to go in there and do all that. I think it's more so. It's about to look like a sparring match. It's about to look like Mike Tyson sparring Floyd Mayweather, and it's about to be a lot of like sticking and moving. And again, that's all we're seeing. You're just gonna see a sparring match, and then I don't like me personally. I don't like when I see big weight differences in any type of like combat sport, because it gives people unrealistic expectations and like views and stuff like that. It's like, man, like and you don't get to really see. It's not an accurate assessment of someone's skill. When someone has like a 30-pound, 40-pound weight difference on another person, it's like, that's just not it's unrealistic. So I don't really have too much to say about that. Both people are going to get paid. That's dope. But, will I watch? Maybe. It depends if there's nothing else on, like I'll tune in. Otherwise, I'll just see the highlights. I didn't watch the last one, I'll be honest. I didn't watch the last Mike Tyson thing. I just seen a few highlights here and there, but I had no interest, so I don't even know if I'll watch this one. I just don't have, and that's the way you get rid of people. For us who don't want to see that and or complain about it, stop watching it. I know it's hard because it's like, there's nothing else, and why not? Exactly, but if we keep watching it, they're gonna keep doing it, and so we just need to stop supporting it and watching these, just pointless fights. Just for like, no, it's not even on a record. Like, yeah, it's not a useful.
Yeah, let's talk about some real boxing.
Exactly.
Canelo.
There we go.
Crawford. What you thinking?
Canelo, Crawford. I am going with Canelo. I think that Crawford is he's definitely trained hard for this fight, and he is gonna come out, really trying to win. But Canelo is Canelo, and Canelo will go down. He's up there to me with Floyd Mayweather as all time greats. And so I just to your point earlier, it's not how many fights you had, it's who you fought. And Canelo has fought he's fought everybody, almost everybody, and there's very few people that you can say that Canelo ducked. And so, I definitely think that that's just a fight that's, going to be a good fight. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going Canelo.
Yeah, I'm thinking Canelo too. If I had to put my money on somebody, I could see how hard Crawford trained for this fight. He's definitely bulked up. I'm sure he's ready to fight at that weight. I just think that, it's different, man, when you gotta jump all those weight classes. Like, if you had a natural transition, I probably would, give you a little bit more grace in that. But I feel like it's hard, man. And Canelo's used to being at that weight, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not a Crawford doubter though. Like, he's great in his own right. Like, and he will definitely come swinging too. So.
I would love for Crawford to take the win and get this on his record. I really would.
I would. That would cement him.
Yeah, I would love for him to get that, and then right off into the sunset.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think Canelo, like, if Canelo lost, I don't think it would hurt him as much as it would Bud.
Yeah.
I think for Bud, like that first real like, oh, this is a test for you is Errol Spence, and
But then there was questions because they were saying Errol Spence.
Yeah, because you could see Errol Spence was not the Errol Spence.
Yeah, he wasn't the same. Ever since that car accident, he hasn't been the same. Which that was a really bad car accident. So like, the fact that he even came back to boxing at all is crazy.
Yeah.
But then that, not to take away from Bud, because Bud did what he needed to do, but that's still, because we know that Errol Spence had that really bad car accident, and we know that he was never the same. It gives you like it's questions, right? And so that was that real big test, and it was against somebody who we already had questions about who should be fighting in the first place. So then you go with Canelo, who was like a real test, and so then if you don't win this one, then people are always gonna have like questions. But at the end of the day, I think Crawford has had a dope career, and he has been that guy in his own right. But as always, we say there's levels to it, and Canelo is the peak of the peak, the top of the mountain. And I just think, like I said, he's super disciplined, and he has been, and he's, like I said, his legacy is crazy. And yeah, like I just, it's just different. Yeah. I think, I'm interested to see which Canelo we gonna see, because Canelo
he's been taking a day off on the last fights.
He really has. Like, he can. I feel like
he's getting bored with them.
That's the thing. Like, Canelo can knock out. He can knock you out if he wants to. I just think he just have been kind of like coasting.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really been. And I will say this. I kind of miss the old Canelo that was like hungry and kind of like wanted to knock people out or whatever. The one that was still trying to prove himself.
Yeah.
He has nothing to prove anymore, and he's just, at this point, he just kind of like doing victory laps. Just he's just doing stuff just to do it.
It's like you run out of like people to fight. Like, the only person was like Benavidez,
right?
That you could say, oh, he didn't fight, but I'm like, he fought Bivol, and I feel like Bivol's a much bigger test than Benavidez,
right?
So I was like, I can't really knock him for that after the fact now,
And so I just, I think at this point, he's just doing things just to do it. And everyone wants to try to get a fight with him. And what I will say is about Gunna, I like that he's stayed clear of those expedition matches. I love that he's done that. I love that he's kept his legacy and his career pure. Pure boxing, real challenges, like, real boxers.
He's done. He's someone I feel like should do that. Like, I don't have a problem with people like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson doing exhibition matches. Not necessarily them doing it. It's more like, hey, are you capable of doing this? Is this within a healthy risk for you?
Right.
That's really
the retired people don't have a problem with it.
I was like,
but Tank, I get it.
But Tank, I'm like, all right, bro.
I get what you're saying. Like, it's like you got real opponents to fight.
Yeah, you got real opponents. Like, Canelo done fought pretty much everybody he could fight.
Yeah.
I was like, he's fought dudes that are way bigger than him.
Right.
That he had no business fighting.
No business fighting. And beat him.
And he's won. Yeah. And I was like, he's won. He's lost too. But but I never expected you to win like any of those like light heavyweight fights.
You shouldn't be fighting at that.
He shouldn't even be fighting at the weight class that he's fighting right now.
Right.
So the fact that he's done.
And even when he lost, he didn't look bad. It just he was ineffective.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's not your, when you get that big or whatever, like he lost a lot of power. That you can tell that the skill was there. But that ain't your weight class, so them body shots that you normally be getting people with don't work over here, buddy.
Yeah.
We can eat these all day, And so it ain't as effective or whatever. So I didn't really see it as, he didn't get beat. He just was ineffective to me. Like, he just couldn't,
Yeah, like, that's why I was like, he shouldn't even try to go up anymore.
Yeah, like, that's just not. That's not gonna work. So at this point, he's just doing things, and so. I think this is gonna be a good fight. But I got Canelo. That's it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it's coming up soon. So I hope everybody tunes in, but
Yeah.
that's all I really got. I think we covered pretty much everything that I want to really cover on today's episode. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that. You know, I'm going to try to consistently put out episodes for you guys to like tune in. So until next time, I'll see you then. Peace.